Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter's half-sister the truth about her mom and dad and potentially alienating her from them? I, 42 male, have one daughter with ex-fiancé, 35 female, who is 14 years old. My fiancé got pregnant shortly after with another child who ultimately turned out not to be mine. This girl is now 13 and she lives with my ex and her new husband. When my daughter was 2.5 years old and her sister was almost 1 year old, my fiancé revealed something crazy to me. Essentially, she had been living a double life and the kids that I thought were mine were not in fact mine. I am somewhat clueless of a man and spent a lot of time working as I was an up-and-coming programmer at the time. On top of this, I am a total introvert, so I was completely blindsided by this. Essentially, my fiancé was really young when we met, and she was a poor college student at the time. She only hooked up with me because I had a good job and health insurance, and she told me she needed the insurance to get through the pregnancies. Now, some of this was a lie because DNA tests revealed that I was the father of the oldest girl. I should have been mad and outraged, but I was just sad. I actually tried to fight in courts to be the legal dad of the 1-year-old that was not biologically mine. I lost a court battle and only got partial custody of my daughter. Surprisingly, we were able to co-parent well despite the traumatic background. My daughter and her half-sister are incredibly good friends and hang around in the same social circles. Therefore, when my daughter had birthday parties or any celebration or sleepover at my house, her sister always came along. I didn't mind this at all and supported it. So here is where I may be the a-hole. I am doing very well for myself, whereas my ex-fiancé is not. Her and her husband and 4 kids total live in an apartment that is about 15 minutes walk from my 3-bedroom house. The husband is not the dad of the 13-year-old, and he bolted long ago, leaving 13-year-old with a very absentee father. Additionally, their current stepdad is on disability and just lays in bed taking pills all day. Not a bad guy, but got into a work accident and got dependent, I guess. I pay more in child support than I am legally required, because I know they use what I pay for them for the other kids as well, and I want my daughter safe. I guess the conditions are not comfortable for my daughter and her half-sister, so they often walk to my house and stuff when they need to get away. One day, the 13-year-old was really upset about something her bio-dad did, and even told me that I did more for her than he did. That's when I just let her know the truth about our history. Apparently, this made her blow up at her mom, and she begged for me to adopt her basically, and now her mom doesn't want her at my house. I feel like I am not an a-hole for just telling the truth, that I was legally her father for a year, but honestly, I just let the truth out because I want her to know why I was doing so much for her. Am I the a-hole for revealing the truth about her mom? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It always amazes me how people get mad when others learn the truth about them. If you're embarrassed to tell people, then why would you do it? She wanted to discuss parentage with you and you told her the truth about hers. She's 13, which is just shy of the age where most kids are legally allowed to have input in which parents they live with. The court feels these kids are old enough. I can tell you that I hated learning about things much later in life and hated that family ever tried to hide stuff. It felt like betrayal. I always appreciated the adults who were upfront about it. To make a real follow-up to this, unlike the "You're the a-hole" comments which was bonkers, I think you hit the nail in the head. If Opie didn't say anything at all false, and he just told the truth, he can't be the a-hole. And exactly as you said, if you don't want something to be told about you or to be known about you, why do it in the first place? The kids deserve to know the truth about their parents. And if you think lying to your mature enough kids is the right thing to do because you don't want people to think you did something you actually did to be known, then I don't know what to say. Not the a-hole. It doesn't sound like you did it maliciously, and she is old enough to know the truth. She would have learned sooner or later, and she deserves the truth. Yes, I totally agree. Kids can handle the truth as long as it's explained in an age-appropriate way. Better than storing up resentment for later. Not the a-hole. She's 13. That's old enough to understand the situation. I'm sure she feels loved and validated knowing that you did want to be a part of her life. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my bio dad my stepdad is walking me down the aisle? I, 29 female, am getting married this year, and I told my bio dad, 57 male, that he will not be walking me down the aisle. My mom, 50 female, and him divorced when I was about 4 years old. They had a very horrible relationship, and he has done and said a lot of terrible things to her, some of which I have memories of. Immediately after their split, he got with his now ex-wife who mistreated me. She would often refer to me as the loose woman's daughter, and drunkenly tried to attack me numerous times. Because of this, I never wanted to go to their house or have a relationship with my dad. I would cry and beg to not go visit them. Eventually, the court ruled that I couldn't be forced to visit if I didn't want to. I'm close with some of the family members on my dad's side, particularly my grandmother, aunt, and some cousins, so I would see him when visiting with them. I had told him we would never have a relationship as long as he was with his wife, because of all the trauma she has caused me and other family members. He condoned her behavior. A few years ago, he let me know he was taking their kids, who had been subject to years of mistreatment, and leaving her. He never apologized or wanted to repair our relationship, but simply wanted me to testify against her in court. While he is still going through the divorce and custody battle, he has also since moved on and gotten engaged to another woman. Our relationship has been an endless cycle of him telling me he wants to be involved in my life, but never actually making an effort. I consider him more of a family friend as our relationship is very surface level. A few months ago, my grandmother was very sick and had surgery, and had to find out from my aunt and my mom's side. My stepdad, 48 male, has been in my life since I was 9, and we have an amazing relationship. My fiancé and I spent a lot of time with my parents and my 2 younger siblings. He had never once asked me who would be walking me down the aisle, but he has said whatever I decide, he would respect since it was my day. Although I don't call him dad, he has taken on that role in every aspect of my life. When I told my bio dad about my decision, he was very upset and said that in his eyes it would have been okay if it both walked me down. He went on to say my stepdad had only been there half my life, and that as a baby I was his pride and joy. I asked him to instead do a reading during the ceremony, which was not good enough for him. When he declined, I said, okay, thank you, and that I looked forward to seeing him at the wedding, as it is not uncommon for us going 6+ months without seeing each other unless other family members invite me to events. Then he responded by asking if he did something wrong to make me not want him there, despite me giving no indication that he was not welcome. I have refused to engage further with him, as I am uninterested in rehashing the trauma of my childhood with him once again. Am I the a-hole? You know the old expression, you can choose your friends but you can't choose your family? Sometimes that's flat out wrong. Like here, your stepfather chose you and your bio father chose not you. You quite naturally shape your wedding based on those choices and the relationships that resulted. Not today, Hal. It's your wedding. I asked him to instead do a reading during the ceremony. You offered a nice compromise which he rejected. Stepfather's been the key father figure in your life for 20 years. In the words of the great Yondu, he may have been your father, girl, but he wasn't your daddy. Thank you. I understand it's his right to turn down the reading, but I felt like I gave him the role I was comfortable with and that wasn't good enough. Not Dehal. He never apologized, doesn't seem to care about the negative effects he had in your life, but acts entitled. I don't think he actually cares about you, just what people might say if he doesn't walk you down the aisle. Honestly, that is exactly what I thought. He cares more about the perception from his family once everyone knows. Not Dehal. What a joke he is. He just wants all the glory and attention of looking like a great father on your wedding day instead of actually being a great father. I'd do the same thing if I was in your shoes. Actually, I think you were really nice what you said when you told him. I would have told him the truth and exactly what I thought of him. Trust me, I wanted to. My fiancé was the one who told me to keep it short and sweet, so that he knows there's no room for discussion and a decision is made. Also, there's only so many times you can tell someone all the things they've done wrong. If they don't get it, they never will. Next story. Am I the a-hole for turning down my stepmother's necklace for my wedding? I, 25 female, am getting married later this year. Got a family necklace from my grandma that my mom, aunts, grandma and 2 cousins weren't theirs. Had that locked in very early. And then my stepmother, of 14 years, tells me she saved the necklace from her wedding for me to wear for mine, as a symbol of us being a true mother-daughter despite not being biologically related. I told her that I had already gotten a necklace from my mom's family, and I wanted to wear that. She was upset. Asked me why I didn't want to get it from her over them. I said because I want something of my mom's to wear on my wedding day, and this has family meaning. She told me what she's giving me has meaning, since her mom gave it to her when she married my dad. I told her it was a sweet offer and I appreciated it, but she could always give it to one of her daughters when they get married. She said it wasn't about that she wanted me to wear it too, and she wanted me to find a way to wear it, not include it, but wear it. I told her I wasn't going to replace the other necklace with hers. She's hurt and angry with me. My dad asked me why I couldn't reassure her that I still see her as my mom and that she didn't need a necklace for that. I told him because I don't see her as my mom. I told him he knows that. She knows that. And yes, she loves me like a daughter, but a lie isn't going to make things better. She will still want me to wear her necklace. She will still bring it up down the line. They told me I should make it up to her and figure out how to wear it to make her happy. My dad suggested I wear one for the ceremony and one for the reception. I said no to that. He told me I was an a-hole for refusing to find a way. She told me that I could wear both together, that they could overlap and I could wear both my moms on me. To try and stop the drama and prevent them from bringing it up more, I asked would she be happy if it were pinned to my bouquet or something. She told me that's a piss-poor consolation prize, and she won't be happy unless I wear it, and that by refusing, I am being needlessly cruel. In my heart, I believe I handled it as well as I could. But am I the a-hole? The reaction to this is making me wonder if I need to reevaluate how I view this. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It's your wedding and you want to wear the family necklace from your mom's side. That's your decision. If she isn't happy and doesn't understand, that's on her. She has no right to be angry about it. I guess she might be disappointed, but turning down any alternative makes her the a-hole here. Edit. From reading the comments, I see you lost your mom, so that makes stepmom even more the a-hole and she can buzz all the way off. I'm sorry for your loss. Forget about keeping the peace. Stepmother is already on a rampage. Her and her father have bulldozed their way of thinking throughout Opie's life. They expected that Opie loved the stepmother as if she was her biological mom. The boundary pushing continues and will go on unless Opie takes a stand. This is Opie's opportunity to be independent and not compromise herself for the sake of keeping the peace, since it appears that she has been doing that all her life with the stepmother. Time to stop this pushy behavior, especially when it's Opie's day. No compromises, no prisoners. Continue saying no to all suggestions. Do not entertain any suggestions nor give a reason as to why not. Not a-hole. She's being needlessly difficult, and the bouquet thing was a good compromise. Piggybacking to add that since she's being difficult, time to take no prisoners. I want to wear my dead mother's necklace for my wedding. Why are you trying to take away my connection to my dead mother? Hit them hard with guilt trip. Remind them nobody who actually loves you would want to take this from you. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my child's mother that she knew what she signed up for? I had a very short relationship with a woman. We weren't really together because I don't, well, have relationships with people very often because it disgusts me. I've diagnosed OCD, but would be germaphobe even without that. I've been in therapy, but some things don't go away. I don't have as many of the rituals, but I can't just ignore how disgusting people are. I can't deal with bodily fluids at all. I know immediately when something, example a baby needing a diaper change when I'm holding them, happens and I just need them away from me, so I can try not to need to leave immediately to go puke or take a shower. I also have epilepsy, and with my meds and condition, I have to have a solid 8 hours of sleep every night. There are no exceptions to this unless I want to be of even less help and end up in the hospital with potentially now ineffective meds. Because of these two things, I never wanted to have children or thought that it would happen. I've always used protection on the rare occasions that it came up, but one of them breaks and here we are. When my child's mother got pregnant, I made sure she was aware of these things, but she chose to keep the baby anyway. We broke up, and while there is no formal child support, I try to help. I visit her and the baby multiple times a week, and can hold the baby so she can go do something else. It just can't last that long before she has to come deal with it. I cannot change diapers or do feeds or anything like that. She is now complaining that she has to do everything by herself, is overwhelmed, It has no help because she can't just have constant visitors like in normal times and I don't do anything. Because I literally can't. I reminded her that she knew what she signed up for when she insisted on keeping the baby. But now she's mad at me and is enlisting whoever she can. Am I in the wrong here? She chose this knowing that I won't be able to help her beyond money. Everyone sucks here. There is a risk to sleeping together, and babies are a part of that risk. Even with protection or birth control, no option is 100% risk-free. You're not a victim. Nobody is a victim here except the child. You should look into getting a vasectomy so you don't have any more accidents. Get a vasectomy and go to the courts to work out how much child support you should be paying. As is, you're dropping the ball massively. Completely this. You're the a-hole, OP. You should have gotten a vasectomy as soon as you were old enough. Men don't have the same restrictions on their body autonomy as women do, and that would have been the responsible thing for you to do. You didn't. You couldn't be bothered to get a small change to your body that would ensure this wasn't a problem for you. But you're okay with thinking that you can just not do your share in raising a child. Not everyone believes in termination, and you think you can have the say over her body when really you had the say over yours. Go to court, work out how much back pay you owe her for child support, and then pay her regularly what the court determines you owe. I would have said equal share here, but you could have very easily ensured this would never be a problem for you. You chose not to, and you decided that you can get over your wishes long enough to be intimate and enjoyed it enough that you get off. But you can't get over your wishes to deal with an infant? Your choices, your messes. Deal with it. Find out how much money you owe. You're the a-hole. You say you made your child's mother aware of your limitations when she got pregnant. You always knew your limitations. You always knew that contraception can fail. You always knew that sleeping with a woman can lead to pregnancy. You should have made your girlfriend aware of your limitations before you ever did it. She wasn't fully informed before you had slept. Given that you're very clear that you never wanted children and can't contribute to raising them, it even goes so far as saying you should have had a vasectomy before even considering being intimate. Light, you're the a-hole. Not for being unable to do things due to your conditions, but definitely for the heartless way you're talking about the mother of your child. She's had a baby, in a pandemic, and she's telling you as clear as day that she is struggling. Could she have been nicer / used a better tone? Absolutely. But the mother of your child is struggling and needs help. It is on you to help her. If not with feeding / changing / night duty, then think of what other things you could be doing. Can you be doing the shopping for her? Could you help clean her place while she's in the baby nap? Could you cook food or buy meals in bulk? Can you help with mental load, booking appointments and accompanying them, researching daycares, shopping for the next size-up clothes? Could you organize for a laundry service to come and help out? You are capable of more than a monetary contribution, and you should start looking for ways to support your child and its mother.
Update. Am I the a-hole for not letting my mother's husband come to my wedding? Original post. I, 29 female, have been with my partner, 32 male, for 7 years. We have been back and forth whether we want a big wedding or if we just elope. We have decided to have a wedding, as we are both only children, so it's our parents' only chance to see their kids get married. One of the big reasons we wanted to elope was both our families are broken and not everyone gets along. It's our day, and we really didn't want the drama that our families might bring. I sent out the invites about 2 months ago, and my mother called me as soon as she got it to let me know I made a mistake, as her invite only had her name and a note saying strictly no +1. She flipped her lid that her husband wasn't invited, as they have been married for almost 25 years. A bit of backstory: I am an only child and he doesn't have kids. They got together when I was around 3 years old. When I was 8 years old, he started abusing me. This went on until I left home at 15 to live with my great-aunt. While I didn't tell anyone at the time due to fear of him, I have since told my great-aunt. She has been super supportive and helped me seek help for this. When my mother was made aware of this, she instantly defended him and took his word that he never touched me. While I wasn't surprised by this, appearances mean a lot to her, it hurt me deeply. We had a rocky relationship for a few years after because of this. She has made it clear that she is sticking by him and will defend him if I ever took it further. Despite this, we have come a long way to repair the relationship we once had, and I want my mother at my wedding. For the past month, I have been getting calls left, right, and center from other family members, telling me how rude it is that I haven't invited the man who raised me, and that he is very upset he can't walk me down the aisle. I don't know what to say to them other than it's a small wedding and we only have limited spots. I don't want to tell anyone the real reason, as it will overshadow the wedding, and that's all they will be thinking about. They are making me feel guilty, and like I've done the wrong thing. They all think I should have invited him. I can understand from their point of view, it would be strange as they don't know about anything. My fiancé and great aunt fully support me not wanting him there, but I still feel like an a-hole for not inviting him. Am I? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Obviously, if people are approaching you about it, your mother's been complaining. I would just let her know she can either come or stay home because her husband wasn't invited. Those are her choices. But if she keeps dragging other family into it, you will be forced to tell them exactly why you didn't invite him. Just tell her I better not be hearing from any more family members about it, or we're gonna have a big problem, and I'll start explaining why. Exactly this. I will also add, it is your and fiancé's day. Period. You are the only ones who have any and all say with anything to do with your wedding and how you want to start your next chapter together. Not the a-hole and not overreacting. If it was me, I would probably start thinking about making the guest list even smaller, or even just elope and do something for the two of you. Don't live your life for others, because in the end, you are the only one who is guaranteed to spend every minute of your life by your side. I'm glad you have found a good support system and very proud of you for seeking help. Not the a-hole. I'd just tell the family that are pressuring you what you said here, that you can't imagine your abuser being a part of the happiest day of your life, as you can now openly speak about it and are strong. Also for your mom, just tell her the age-old rule. It's an invite, not a summons. She doesn't have to go if she doesn't want to, but that he will not be allowed in. And if she does show up with him, that will be the end of your relationship. If the venue has a wedding planning team or security, that if he tries to show up, he will not be allowed in and escorted off the property. Not the a-hole. You don't even owe your mother an invitation, given how she refuses to believe you. If my mother treated me that way, I'd never speak to her again. You can cut her off completely. You don't need that kind of relationship in your life. My mother was molested by an uncle as a child. She didn't tell anyone until her mid-20s, when I was 2 or so. When she told her parents, they defended her and supported her. That's what good parents do. Now for the first update. Absolutely devastated. After reading so many comments about her bad behavior and so many people saying they would be no contact and wouldn't have her at the wedding, I really took that all on board and called her. I asked her to really think about it. Think about what he did to me, how it made me feel, and ask why she thought I would want him at my wedding. I told her at this point I don't want her to attend, and told her to stop calling people and complaining about it. I told her if I get more calls or texts, or if she causes any more drama about being uninvited, I would tell the whole family what he did to me for 7 years under her roof, and how she didn't do a thing to stop him or protect me. She instantly got defensive and lost her mind at me over the phone. I told her I'm not getting into it over the phone, and she needs to respect my wishes. Now overnight, I've had almost 20 family members message me telling me they are no longer attending my wedding and that I am disgusting and a vile mentally ill girl for making up such nasty and revolting lies about mom's husband. I called my aunt, mother's sister, and when she finally agreed to talk to me, she told me my mother called her last night in tears. She was apparently beside herself. The short version was, basically, I was jealous of him and how much attention my mother gave him. I was set on ruining him as a person and was going to make up lies about him abusing me just to get my own way. I was gobsmacked. I literally sat on the phone in shock for a few minutes while she continued to tell me what my mother said. She apparently also told her the reason I left home so young was because I hated mom's husband making me do my chores. She even told her that at 15, just before I left, that I tried to seduce him to persuade him into giving me a car, and that he turned me down, which made me angry. That's why I left. I told my aunt that was simply not true. It was so far from the truth. I asked her to call and talk to my great aunt, and she can tell her what really happened. When I told her about the abuse, my aunt said she is now confused and doesn't know who to believe. I am gutted and completely embarrassed. If this is what she has told my aunt, what has she told everyone else? How do I face this? I feel like that vulnerable little girl all over again. My fiancé is a little overwhelmed with how everything is unfolding, but still been really supportive. We have decided to cancel the wedding despite having paid deposits for almost everything and elope with just his immediate family, my great aunt, and a few close friends. You need to send one message to everyone who has declined and tell them that your mother threatened to smear you if you revealed what her husband did to you, and you can see that she did. Tell them you are sorry they were so gullible that they would believe her without talking to your great aunt who took you in, then block them all. Don't forget to remind the ones who have young children to keep an eye on that POS so their little girls aren't his next victims. When you send a message or email to cancel, write why you are canceling. Lay out the abuse and what happened when you confronted your mom about her husband not going to your wedding. You can say anyone who has doubts can contact your great aunt who has known truth for years. But ultimately, it's up to them to decide who to believe. Anyone who doesn't believe you doesn't need to be in your life anymore. I'm sorry you're having to go through this. It sounds like you are better off removing these toxic people from your life. The greatest insult to abusers is to forget about them and live your life happily. And tell that since the statute of limitations has not run out of child sexual abuse, that you have decided to contact the police. Whether you decide to contact the police or not, I guarantee this will shut her up forever and ever. Do it anyways. Get a text from her where you accuse her of knowing for years and ask why she did nothing. Actually, no. Start off by contacting Rain and other groups and start getting advice and legal representation. If you want, you can ask for money for lawyer fees in lieu of wedding gifts when you announce what you did instead. Second update. Crap has hit the fan big time. I've had a few family members reach out to me, and turns out he assaulted 2 of my older cousins before me, and 1 since. As awful as it sounds, and I know it sounds awful and I don't mean it that way, but I'm glad I'm not alone. Now it's not just me trying to tell my family. Our experiences are all pretty similar. We were all too scared to come forward and say anything because he threatened to hurt us and our families. We all thought we were the only one. He always said we were his special one. I know how silly it sounds now, but as a kid living with it, you believe. And as you grow up, you hope he isn't hurting others. We are in the process of talking to everyone in the family to see if he hurt anyone else. Once the family heard about the other girls coming forward, everything became clear to them. They realized my mother was lying to protect him and have rallied around us all. They have all been so apologetic for believing my mother and not seeing it sooner. My mom's husband, on the other hand, showed up at my house. I have no clue how he got my address as mother doesn't even have it. He was trying to talk/threaten me into staying quiet and not go to the police. I obviously didn't answer the door and asked him to leave. I called my partner to come home quickly, and I also called the police. He broke into my house while I was on the phone to the dispatcher and started yelling at me, hitting me, and trying to choke me. Thankfully, help arrived within about 10 minutes, and the self-defense classes I've taken helped a little bit. As scary as it all was, I feel like it's finally over. If that makes sense, he is being charged and still in lockup for breaking and entering, and assault. The 4 of us girls all made statements about the abuse, and the police are opening an investigation. What a roller coaster this week has been. Honestly, I didn't think it was possible to feel everything I'm feeling. At the start of the week, we were having a wedding, and no one really knew about the abuse. To wedding canceled and everything, thinking I'm making things up. To everything unfolding with mom's husband and my cousins. And now we have decided to go ahead with the wedding, but change it to be more about us and for us, not our families. Obviously, I know we still have a long road ahead of us, but for now it's over. Time to focus on the wedding and the people who matter most. Thank you to everyone who has left comments and advice. It's been so appreciated. I hope her mother rots in the deepest depths of hell. She deserves nothing less. It is terrifying the women who act this way. When I was in high school, my sister's friend finally spoke up about stepfather's abuse. Her mother then kicked her out, called her a liar, disowned her, and stayed with the POS. Even when years later other girls in the family spoke up, they were all liars. I just don't get it. I mean, thankfully I was never harmed, but one of my stepfathers had assaulted a sibling of his, and my mom stuck by him. I don't get it. That would be a major deal breaker for me. My mother did the same thing, stayed by her husband's side and shouted at me how I'm a liar and to get out of her face. I was never a troubled kid or lied. No reason for her not to believe me. But so many kids go through this and their parents choosing their partners. What a shame. I'm so sorry you went through this. I hope he is locked away so he cannot hurt another child. He's not. Police didn't care. People were more shocked I told about the assault than him doing it. But I'm in therapy and slowly healing. And thank you. I wish we knew if he were in prison and her mother shunned by the entire family. I hope OP a truly fabulous life. Oh, he's going to prison, breaking and entering, for the purpose of committing an assault? Gets you to big time pretty much anywhere. Depending on the jurisdiction, the choking is a substantially aggravating factor. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not helping my dad's pregnant girlfriend and telling her to get lost when she asked? My mom died 14 months ago, and things been tough since. I, 16 female, always had a great relationship with my dad before, but lately it's been pretty awful. 4 months ago, my dad brought this woman home, told me she was his girlfriend and that she was pregnant and moving in with us. This was 9 months after my mom died. I didn't really know what to say at first. He was scrambling to say stuff, but I don't really remember what he said. But when I did speak, I was bitter and I told him. I guess he found a great way to tell me he never loved my mom and was over her. I said that because he had always talked about people moving on within like 2 years of their husband or wife dying, as never really loving them, and got over them super fast. He'd say that loving someone and being ready to move on would take a much longer time. He said he saw it in family and family friends who'd been through the loss. He said the people who moved on super fast were disrespectful, especially when they had kids who had lost a parent and needed to be supported and their parents' memory preserved. So I took it really hard when Dad was admitting he'd knocked someone up 7 months after my mom died. They'd started screwing each other 5 months after Mom died, which is something I hate thinking about, but he admitted it. His girlfriend got extremely mad when I was saying that stuff to Dad about him not loving Mom. She took offense that I was focusing on that, instead of on the news of a baby and greeting her. I ignored her and kept telling my dad what I thought, and she lost it, and said I should be excited about the baby. She said Mom was dead and Dad had a right to a life after her. She said the baby didn't deserve this treatment. She moved in that day and Dad spent days trying to make me okay and to apologize for it all happening so fast. His girlfriend didn't want me there and said I needed to leave if I wouldn't welcome her and celebrate the baby. Dad said no, but I told him I wanted to go. He tried to fight it, but I asked him if he ever wanted a relationship with me, because if he did, it would not happen if I was forced to live with her. I moved in with my grandparents. Dad comes to see me multiple times a week. He's talked me into going to the house for dinner a couple of times, but me and his girlfriend do not like each other. She's extra bitter that Dad's so focused on making our relationship work instead of on her and the baby. The last time I saw her was a month ago, and she told me I was disgusting for not getting over myself and warming up to the baby who's coming whether I like it or not. She was also angry that I wouldn't pick something up for her when she dropped it. Last Tuesday, I got a text from her. Don't have her number, but she said who she was, telling me she needed me to go over there now because she left her key in the house and got locked outside, and she was in pain and having some bleeding and was supposed to rest. I still have a key to the house and Dad was still at work. I replied F off, and I didn't go to help her. I blocked her number too. After that, she used Dad's phone to leave a voicemail yelling at me and calling me names for leaving her outside when she's 7 months pregnant. I ignored it, and Dad told me she just waited in the car until he got home. But she texted me in the middle of the night from Dad's phone calling me a POS. My dad knows about it. and he apologized. He's still trying to make this all okay with me, but he also hopes we can all get along and be a family. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. She has verbally attacked you from day one. You were right to move out. You were right to block her. And frankly, I realized Dad's way of getting over his grief was, checks notes, screwing a younger woman within a few months of your mom's death, knocking her up, tolerating her belligerent treatment of his grieving daughter, moving her in, and losing his daughter. It wasn't your job to help someone who has been horrifically rude to you. He sucks. She's not much younger than him, but yeah, he started sleeping with her 5 months after Mom died, even after he said all that stuff. The fact that he just moved her in like that too still frustrates me. He better get used to us having a relationship outside of her if he's serious, because I want nothing to do with that woman. Tell your dad to have a DNA test done, not the a-hole. My thoughts exactly. OP, is your dad even 100% sure that the baby is his? All this extra could be for nothing. And make sure to say it in front of her. Update. Am I the a-hole for not going to the wedding of my dad and his affair partner? Original post. When I was 17, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. 2 years later, she passed away. During those 2 years, my dad was not around much. He was always working and going on business trips. My aunt and grandma took care of my mom. About 5 months after my mother's passing, my dad introduced me to his new girlfriend. I was angry. I yelled at him for how quickly he moved on from my mom, when they then decided to tell me they had been in a relationship for 3 years. My dad had been cheating on my mom while she was dying. His business trips were to meet his affair partner. I was so angry, I packed my stuff and left his house. I haven't spoken to him since that day. Currently, I am 25. The only family I speak to is an aunt, who helped me when I left my dad's house. A few days ago, my aunt called me, asked me how I was, and then asked me if I had heard from Dad. I said, why would I hear from him again? My aunt said Dad is getting married to his affair partner, and by going to his wedding, it would help mend our relationship. I said, why would I do that? He is dead to me. There was a silence on the phone for a bit before my dad replied, asking if that was what I felt about him. I immediately cut the call when I heard his voice. I realized he was with my aunt when she made the call to me. I texted my aunt telling her I asked her not to tell Dad anything about me, and she had agreed back then. She texted me back saying I was an a-hole for saying what I said, that my dad is crushed hearing that, and that I should move on by now. I did not want to argue with someone who helped me, so I blocked her. Over the next 2 days, I received a wedding invitation in my mailbox. The only person in the family who knew my address was my aunt. She also gave my number to various members of the family. I am being bombarded with calls and texts from Dad, uncles, cousins, aunts, saying I should give him a chance and come to the wedding. Some are calling me names for saying what I said. I got a text from the affair partner saying my dad is thinking of postponing the wedding and I should just talk to him. For context, the affair partner was a friend of my mom and knew she had cancer. I said it's not my fault if he postpones the wedding. I don't want to have a relationship with Dad or her. They're trying to force it. It got quiet after that, but being told by so many people from my dad's side that I am an a-hole did leave me conflicted. But I am sticking to my guns. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Your dad cheated on your mom while she was dying, and now the whole family is upset you've calmly expressed how you feel about it by A. Cutting your dad out, and B. Not attending the wedding. Your aunt also violated your trust by giving your contact information out without your consent. I'd say cut the whole family out at this point. That certainly would be the mature response. It is much kinder than going to the wedding. And when they ask if anyone objects, calmly explaining why you object to their behavior. OP, there is no statute of limitations on feelings. You are allowed to decide how you feel for as long as you want to feel that way. Not the a-hole. Tell your father you are treating him like he treated your dying mother. Block everyone who tries to tell you how to feel. Move on and don't look back. Yup, that's what I'm doing. Not the a-hole. Change your number. If you can move without telling anyone, do it, because they're going to show up in person to confront you next. Get some security cameras in case someone tries to go nuts or force their way into your home. They're all horrible people. Your dad and his AP are the worst. Both were close to your mom and did this to her. Ask the affair partner what she would do if she got cancer and he did the same to her. Actually, don't bother. Don't engage any of them. Don't feel guilty. You're doing the right thing. Stand up for yourself. Everyone here supports you. Thank you. I am in the process of changing my number and updating contacts. As for where I live, it's a pretty secure apartment. You can only come in after me or someone buzz you in. Then you have to write down your name with security, and the elevator works with a key fob only. I am hoping that I don't have to move, but keeping my options open if it escalates. Honestly, I'm smelling a catch from this. Why now? Why does it take him 6 years to suddenly, desperately want to mend the relationship? Either way, it's not your problem, and I hope you ditch this whole nasty family. You deserve better. Actually, I thought about this too, and I think you may be right because I got some texts like, it's a son's duty to take care of his father, and your future kids would want their grandfather in their life. Now for the first update. First, I want to thank all who commented on the first post and everyone who messaged me. It really helped me stick with my decision to not go to the wedding. I wanted to update earlier, but it's been pretty hectic with work. So, after the many texts and calls from multiple family members, I sent a text to all the numbers detailing what Dad did and why I chose to be no contact with him. I then blocked all the numbers. I have changed my number, but kept the old number in a separate phone to collect evidence if they start to harass me from random numbers. But luckily, nothing happened, and I thought that was that. A week or so after that, my aunt's fiancé came to my apartment. He knows what time I get off work and was waiting for me in the parking lot. I was apprehensive, but he assured me he only wanted to talk. According to him, the text I sent caused a crap storm in the family. He told me that some of the cousins who didn't know what happened in the past started to question Dad and the affair partner, and they started to get defensive and deny it. But someone revealed that it was true. This caused a massive argument within the family, with some cousins pulling out of the wedding. Dad wanted to postpone the wedding so he could talk to me, but the affair partner threatened to leave him if he did that. The news of what Dad and the affair partner did also reached some of their friends, who were at one point also friends of my mom. Some of them have also pulled out of the wedding, and this caused the affair partner to have a breakdown. She started banning anyone who brought it up, including family members, from the wedding. According to my aunt's fiancé, she is blaming all of this on me, saying I did this intentionally. I laughed at that. The wedding is still somehow happening. I asked him about my aunt and how all this started, and he said all he knows is that there was a conversation about how bad the family would look if I wasn't at the wedding, and that my aunt offered to call me. He said he disagreed, but she did it anyway. He said he came only because he felt I needed to know what happened. I thanked him but told him I would be going completely no contact with her, and by extension him as well. He agreed, wished me well, and left. I'm not going to lie and say I'm completely okay. I miss my aunt, I miss my mom, but I know what I did was the right thing. I am currently staying with my girlfriend, and she's been cheering me up by coming up with absurd ways to ruin the wedding. As a lot of you said, I should try therapy, and I'm going to take that advice. Some of the comments made me realize that I have bottled up a lot of grief and anger. I'm super nervous about it, but I also feel it'll do me good. So once again, thank you for all your comments and advice. Ciao. Not the a-hole. She has been cheering me up by coming up with absurd ways to ruin the wedding. I can't think of anything that has been more effective than your going public in the way that you did. Eventually, things will calm down. You might consider reaching out to the family. Once they knew what had happened, defended your choice of not going to the wedding. They're the ones who sought out the truth and remained loyal to you. Honestly, I want to know what some of these ideas are. One last nail in the coffin would be nice. Here's an idea. OP could show up to the wedding and object to it. Use the nasty details of the affair to make the case. It'd be perfect. Hopefully they are just having fun making up fantasy scenarios. OP should be a million miles from that wedding and just let it ruin itself. LMFAO, it is ironic how she blames this on you. Lol honey, if you didn't want people to find out about you, shouldn't have had an affair with a married man. It is as simple as that, but people like her are just dumb and delusional. I hope you have a nice life with your girlfriend. Right? All OP did was tell the truth. If a description of your actions makes you look bad, that's on you. Second update a year later. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but I logged in today and saw a lot of messages asking me what happened and how I'm doing. I wasn't sure if I should write this or if anyone would even see it, because I don't know if I am doing it right, but here it goes. For everyone asking what happened at the wedding, I don't know much. All I know is that they got married. No one from that family has contacted me since then, and I didn't go asking around either. I am at peace with it. As for me, things are different now. First, I want to thank everyone who reached out and asked how I've been holding up. Your kindness means more than I can put into words. I'm getting better, slowly, though the journey hasn't been easy. A lot has changed since my last update. I'm single now and have moved to a new city. My ex, who I'll call Mia, and I separated about 4 months after my last post. We celebrated 2 years together in March and talked about our future. But I was a mess. Therapy started well, but I quickly realized just how many unresolved issues I had bottled up from losing my mom. I was struggling emotionally, crying at random, worrying about some messed up thoughts that I might somehow turn into my dad, and spiraling with fears I couldn't control. Mia had dreams of marriage and kids, and I knew I wasn't in the right place to give her the future she deserved. It would have been very selfish of me to ask her to stay until I got better. We had a long, honest talk, lots of tears, and ultimately decided to part ways. It wasn't easy, but it was the best decision for both of us. Mia and I still cared for each other deeply, and she, along with my friends, checked on me every day after the breakup. I wasn't left to face things alone, and for that, I'm so grateful. In July, I was offered the chance to move to the head office of my company in another city. After discussing it with my therapist, I decided it would be a good opportunity to change my surroundings and start fresh. In September, I made the move. My best friend used 25 days of his 30-day holiday to help me pack, move, and settle in. I can't overstate how much that meant to me. I have incredible friends. Since then, I've been taking things one day at a time. The new office has been amazing. Everyone was so welcoming, which was a big relief since I'd been anxious about starting over somewhere new. I now attend online therapy sessions twice a week and grief counseling in person here. It's been helping a lot. I'm in a much better headspace than I was before, though I still don't feel ready to date again. For now, I'm focusing on my career and on continuing to heal. Once again, thank you to everyone who has supported me, whether through messages or just by caring enough to check in. It means the world. Poor OP got understandably messed up over his father's idiotic decisions. Glad to hear he's doing better. That whole family has some idiotic ideas. OP was told that it's his duty to take care of his father, and future kids would want their grandfather in their life. But this reasoning does not apply to the father, who made a marital oath to take care of his wife, and who was also gone on business trips with a fair partner and absent from his own teenage son's life. That's some kind of disconnected BS. I'm so glad OP's doing well, though I was really sad reading the part about them and Mia breaking up. It sounds like they were all mature about it though, and it's good to hear that OP is making progress in therapy. Screw the dad and a fair partner though. A fair partner had better hope she never gets cancer or any other serious illness because she knows exactly what her precious new husband will do about it. Find himself a replacement and start taking long business trips. Also, he doesn't have to wash his own socks or spend a moment single. Such a shame for OP and for Mia, who sounded like a really good person. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my future in-laws make a speech at my wedding after they tried to talk my fiancé out of marrying me? I recently got married, and while the day was beautiful and full of love, getting there wasn't exactly smooth sailing, especially when it came to my in-laws. My husband and I had been together for 4 years before tying the knot. He's my favorite person in the world, and we've been through a lot together. Job changes, health scares, even a stretch of long distance. But we always came out stronger. The only real sore spot in our relationship had been his parents. They were never openly rude, but it was clear they didn't like me. His mom had mastered the art of passive-aggressive comments, and his dad was the type who'd smile while slipping in a dig like, "You must be pretty persuasive if you got our son to put up with a dog in the house. We have two." It was constant subtle messaging that they didn't see me as wife material. The real blow came about 6 months before the wedding. My husband sat me down and told me his parents had tried to talk him out of marrying me. Not once, but twice. Once during a dinner at their house, and again over a phone call. They said I was too emotional, not raised like them, and a bad match for their son. His mom even said she felt I was beneath his potential. To his credit, he shut it down both times. He told them he loved me, that they were being incredibly disrespectful, and that the wedding was happening, with or without their blessing. As the wedding got closer and we started finalizing the ceremony and speeches, his parents said they were preparing a short, heartfelt toast for the reception. I told my husband I wasn't comfortable with that. Why hand a microphone to two people who had literally tried to sabotage our relationship? Any kind words from them would have either been fake or laced with subtle shade. He was surprised, but said he understood where I was coming from. He hoped it could be a turning point for them to show support publicly, maybe even begin to heal things. I told him if they wanted to show change, they could do it privately, a conversation, a letter, something before the wedding. I wasn't going to risk our day turning awkward or petty. He agreed to respect my decision, but I could tell he was hurt. Some of our closest friends told me I was being too cold, and that refusing the toast would just make things worse in the long run. His parents, of course, were offended and called me controlling. After that, my husband had a final conversation with them. He told them, calmly but firmly, that they would not be giving a speech, and why. He made it clear that trying to undermine our relationship and never apologizing for it disqualified them from being honored in that way. They didn't take it well. His mom cried and called me divisive, and his dad accused me of ruining family traditions. They didn't try to make amends or have a real conversation after that, so we left it there. Then came the wedding day, and to my surprise, they actually behaved. No snide remarks, no drama. They smiled for photos, clapped at the right moments, and made it through dinner without issue. I started to think maybe, just maybe, we'd gotten through to them. But then came the reception. We had an open mic portion planned, just for a few pre-approved friends to share lighthearted stories. In the middle of it, I saw his dad get up, walk over to the DJ, and try to take the mic. I panicked, but our DJ was incredible. He shut it down politely, told him the mic was closed, and escorted him away from the stage. Later, I found out my best friend had warned the DJ ahead of time, just in case. He had our backs 100%. Afterward, my husband pulled his dad aside and gave him one final warning. We're adults, we're married, and if they couldn't respect our boundaries, they'd be seeing a lot less of us. Since then, his parents have been distant. No calls, no texts, no apology. And honestly, that's fine. I'm not going to chase after people who never wanted to accept me in the first place. I married the love of my life. Our wedding was everything I dreamed of, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like we're truly on the same page, as a team. That story was really great, especially for me since I have had people who were backstabbers. I kind of knew it, but tried to be nice and got stabbed. Good on you for sticking to your guns. Like the little boy who farted in church, they get to sit in their own pew now. Much happiness to you and your new hubby. Maybe someday, especially if grandkids are incoming, they will rethink their crappy behavior and give a heartfelt apology for their untoward mean attitude toward you. Control freak parents suck. It would be interesting to have heard what your father-in-law was planning on saying, but it must have been priceless to see him escorted away from the mic and not get a chance to say anything mean or left-handed about you and his son's marriage. My guess is that they were being nice at the wedding to give him a chance to do it. You nipped it in the bud. So lucky with my hubby, but not much with my in-laws. Not the a-hole. You know you made the right decision when they didn't immediately attempt to apologize to you and make up for their BS when told they were not getting speeches. I think the reality is you gave your husband the strength to have a backbone, and ultimately, that is why they don't like you. He has something worth fighting for, and they no longer have control over him, hence why they wanted you gone.